their techniques over the years. Now they're spraying offshore at night or early in the morning, and letting the weather systems bring this stuff along with them and move it across the country. So they're real. They are messing with the atmosphere. They have been putting perhaps nano-sized particulates now of aluminum, barium, and other items into the lower atmosphere. I mean, 20,000 feet and below, maybe even up to 30,000. To turn the lower atmosphere, we think, into a number of different platforms for doing a number of different things. It's a very nefarious, evil, and ugly practice. It's called geoengineering, otherwise known as chemtrails, this planet's atmosphere into a mess. And it's not going to just go away in a few weeks, a few months. It's a very serious crisis, and it's
in a desperate attempt to try to keep whatever ice they can in the Arctic at any cost to the rest of the planet. And we see that because we see a conveyor in some senses. These high-pressure domes, you're not far from me, so you know this, the constant...
Sure, we didn't get... Did you get any rain in November to speak of?
No. We haven't had significant rain since December of last year. And my exact location normally gets 70 inches a year. We're 190 inches short for the last 7 years. I mean, this is what happens when you aerosolize these incoming storms. It migrates the moisture onward. So massive high pressure over us, spins clockwise, jet stream goes over us, and this summer the typical pattern was they would pick up moisture from the Gulf, pump it up the eastern seaboard where there was a lot of rain, and they kept pushing that toward the Arctic where they were nucleating the hell out of it. We can see it on the radar when they're artificially chemically ice nucleating, which is a chemical process that turns rain at warmer temperatures to nucleated snow, heavy wet snow, but then that nucleation process cools the temperatures down, and that nucleation material continues to be active when it hits the ground. So we see, for example, last year here we had temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and we still had 3-4 inches of ice on our pond, and the process was so powerful it was gassing the water right out of our pond. We're waiting for more samples coming back on that now, but in the case of barium and ammonium, those two elements, and you can Google this and see lab tests online for this too, but those two elements combined can lower temps up to 100 degrees. So we know barium's in the mix. Ammonium is hard to test for because it gasses out quickly, but on the radar we can see they're nucleating almost everything, Jeff, because snow no longer has almost anything to do with elevation. It's based on regions because it's wherever they're choosing to spray the storm the heaviest, they can cause ice nucleation. So one side's snow of the storm, the other side's rain, sometimes weather at this point, and the majority of geoengineering takes place over the top of existing sprayed cloud cover or natural cover as it all blends together. And these artificially nucleated snowstorms, and this is something people really should investigate because it's hard for people to get their arms around this being possible, but the Chinese openly announced they were doing this. People should Google Chinese scientists create artificial snowstorm. They announced it openly until they did $1 billion worth of damage to Beijing, and they shut up after that. But now we see, again, we have the patents for this, one from NASA, and this appears to be a major mechanism by which they cool the atmosphere down at the cost of reducing precipitation. You cause an endothermic reaction, as these chemicals do. It tends to keep that precipitation from hitting the ground, but it does cool the air mass, the cloud cover. And we have periods now where moisture's moving in like right now. We can hear dozens of aircraft overhead. I mean, they never stop. The sun never goes away, and I live in the middle of nowhere. And you'll feel at certain points, it's like opening a refrigerator door. You feel